I would encourage you first to look in the link below and watch the This Old House YouTube video on how to build this swing, and then use this video as kind of an addition to see some more angles and maybe gather some more ideas on your project before you get started. So this is our final product. This is the DIY porch swing that This Old House uh, YouTube channel made a video on, and we recreated it for our patio for ourselves, and wanted to make a video just to give you guys some more ideas as we work along here. There weren't dimensions provided in the This Old House video, so we kind of created our own. And I don't know that providing dimensions, I will provide some. I don't know that it'll be completely useful because it actually depends on the size of your patio and what you need. But this will be a swinging porch bench, basically just 2x4s and 2x6s that we're going to paint and make look pretty. We started with the cushions that the wife ordered, and then I basically fit the porch swing to the cushions, and then hopefully as we replace, or maybe we can reupholster them in the future, but hopefully it'll be a consistent size because this bench was made to fit the cushions that we bought. They're about 27 inches deep, so I made the bench 26 and a half inches deep to fit it. And here's kind of a view of the back. Just wanted to provide a little bit more of a kind of a follow-up to the This Whole Old House video as to how we assembled the porch bench. You can see there at the end I drilled some holes. They used a lot of pocket holes for drilling. I wanted something more secure, so there were a number of spots where I did use pocket holes in some lesser structural areas such as that. But as you can see, like on that end photo, I drilled in, drilled some holes and then sunk the screws in so that it would be more structurally sound. This is 101 inches wide at the bottom, so I think it's 99 inches wide at the bottom of what you're looking at. We did add obviously there's a base that this sits on, but I started with the top. Well, there's an example here of the holes that I had drilled out, and then I used these extensions basically to get that screw in there. I just felt better about that than the pocket holes. I was kind of DIYing the pocket holes. I didn't have a tool for it, and I also just felt like, given the weight and the fact this thing's hanging, I'm going to want more strength than that. I did create my own pocket holes on the bottom, just basically spacing the 2x4s with a 2x4 spacing in between each one, and I sunk all those in at the bottom, but those seemed less relevant than the other structural pieces. Those will obviously just be holding up the weight of the person, and not necessarily hundreds and hundreds of pounds that could be sitting on this thing. And the bench itself has to weigh more than 100 pounds now that I'm done with it. Two of us carrying it around the house, it's definitely heavy. So there you see the edge sticks out a little bit. It is 101 inches wide on those edges, and that gave you a little bit more of a wider base. And then later in this video, I'll show how we did attach the eye bolts through those edges in a different way than they did in the This Old House video, where we drilled through the base that holds up the bench rather than sideways through the bench. And then we did paint the majority of it. We didn't paint under the cushions where the cushions will sit because you won't see it anyways, but we did paint the bottom. And here's the eye bolts that I sunk through, just drilled a hole through. So as I said in This Old House video, they had those through the side. We ended up doing those through the bottom. I just thought that would be more structural. Just going on common sense. I'm not a building expert here. And here's a rope. We actually had this on hand, so we had the cost of the wood and the hardware, but some of the parts we were able to save on just from rope we had on hand. We ended up hanging it with a kit. It's actually a Jungle Gym kit that you can buy on Amazon, and we used four of them, one for each of the ropes, just hoping for a little bit more structural integrity. And a couple ideas to kick around. If you look at the bottom of the front there, right there, you can see it. That front board in front of the cushion, I actually had a 2x4 that I cut probably a third off from, just to have it be a little bit lower so it wouldn't push against your legs so much, but it still provided some structural integrity and would hold the cushions in. And then I I sunk many screws into the bottom. So I, built we started with the cushions and built the top to fit the height and width and length of the cushions that we purchased. But then I built the base based off from that top part. Once constructed to fit the cushions, the base then was built around that. And then one other, I guess, just to make sure this is secure, one other adjustment I had made was, I sunk several screws from the base upwards, through the base and into the top portion, in order to just make sure it was very secure. I went around and, I don't know, every foot or so, I sunk some long screws in, just to make sure that it would be strong. And this is pressure treated lumber. I purchased it from Home Depot, but regardless, if you have, pressure treated lumber or lumber that's for use outdoors, obviously we painted it. We fully expect to have to paint it again soon because this wasn't fully dried out. So I expect the paint to fade over the next year. Plan on putting another coat on in year 2, and then hopefully thereafter it won't require paint as frequently. And another thought just to consider is some of the pocket holes that may be visible from the outside and kind of blemish the view of it. For us, it wasn't much of an issue because we were going to paint it white. So where I drilled holes, we used a wood filler, and then we were able to, paint over it. If you were building this and going to stain the wood, you likely wouldn't want to drill holes in the same manner because the holes would be more noticeable on stained wood versus with white paint. You can really cover up and hide a lot of the imperfections. And so hopefully this is a decent follow-up video and you guys can take some ideas from it. I hope that it helps some of you out, and good luck.